en tête sera la dernière à partir. Mais on gardera l'ordre de départ des cavaliers à l'intérieur de l'équipe. On additionnera les points de chaque manche et s'il y a égalité pour la victoire, la deuxième place, chaque nation choisira un cavalier, un couple donc, pour venir disputer le barrage et gagner au chronomètre cette épreuve. Nous allons reconnaître maintenant, en compagnie de Philippe, si Aurélien va bien ouvrir le micro de l'un des ambassadeurs Joshua International, qui a l'habitude aussi de commenter ces épreuves et à la télévision et maintenant avec ses élèves en tant que nouvel entraîneur de l'équipe marocaine. Bonjour Philippe, je sais que vous avez déjà reconnu cette épreuve. Alors, comment s'annonce le Cru 2013 cette fois aussi à FEI Nations Cup? Ah, est-ce qu'on peut allumer le... Ah, il suffit que c'est moi qui ne l'ai pas allumé, Philippe. Hop, là, si on le sur le bouton rouge, je vais sur le bouton vert. Si, il me semble qu'il est allumé. Non, il n'est pas. Voilà, ça y est. Pardon, toutes mes excuses. Si, il faut attendre 2 secondes.
Attends.
Voilà.
Ça y est.
Voilà.
Bonjour tout le monde. Oui, une Coupe des Nations que j'ai marché qui me paraît, comme on dit dans le jargon des cavaliers, assez épais, on va dire. Il y a un parcours assez difficile, je trouve, sachant qu'il y a 2 manches. Après, c'est le temps accordé qui peut aussi faire la différence à la fin. Les points comptent très cher dans les Coupes des Nations, les points de temps dépassés.
Alors, sachant que, comme un grand prix, la vitesse par rapport à toutes les épreuves est supérieure. On court à 400 mètres minutes. The speed for a Nation Cup is faster than for all other classes. It's 400 meters per 1 minute, so have to go a little bit fast, you know.
Oui, donc on commence ici sur un vertical qui n'a pas l'air énorme, mais il fait quand même 1m45 directement, le French Tour.
Donc le French Tour en direction de la grande tribune par noir et gris. Le French Tour, ce sont les 5 étoiles de Bordeaux, de la Baule, de Cannes, de Chantilly, de Lyon. 1m45 pour commencer.
Oui, ce qui est déjà un bon vertical pour ceux qui font de l'équitation, qui montent. On attaque directement ici sur le vertical. Ensuite, numéro 2, l'Auxerre à Baule. L'Auxerre qui est très carré, un petit peu clair, on va dire, les chandeliers. Donc je trouve pas trop de recul. Pour protéger un petit peu la barre devant, qui peut faire des fautes. Et ensuite, on enchaîne directement en ligne.
Il est bien carré ici, hein.
Oui, mais déjà, on voit pas beaucoup la barre de derrière.
Si le cheval n'est pas encore trop réveillé après le numéro 1, il a intérêt à l'être sur le numéro 2.
Oui,
145 high, 150 wide for the first big fence number 2.
Ici derrière, vous avez 6 foulées normales, saut normal sur le numéro 2, 6 foulées un tout petit peu en tenant, léger. Voilà.
D'accord.
C'est délicat face à la sortie.
Oui, on est en direction de la sortie. Au niveau du visuel, là, les barres rouges, noires, les couleurs des RMC, elles sont pas trop bien.
Oui. Enfin bon, on a quand même des coupes avec beaucoup d'expérience. On a quand même ce qui se fait de mieux dans chaque pays aujourd'hui qui est aligné dans la Coupe des Nations.
Et on est à 1m50 déjà sur le numéro 3.
Alors une particularité du chef de piste Frédéric Cotier, c'est que là vous avez envie de tourner à gauche pour aller chercher le 5, mais il faut aller à droite pour aller chercher le numéro 4, faire un demi-tour, ici un petit peu délicat, pareil on est le dos à la porte, un virage un petit peu serré, Auxerre blanc, jamais le plus agréable à sauter, les chevaux sautent moins bien le blanc on va dire.
Montrez bien la courbe, c'est bien une courbe à droite où on repasse devant la porte pour revenir ici vers l'Auxerre blanc. Hein. Ça, c'est un virage délicat et les chevaux ont plutôt envie d'aller.
Oui, puis il faut garder le galop, il faut garder le tempo des chevaux, que les chevaux ne se déconcentrent pas, garder une bonne qualité de galop parce que, ce qu'on a parlé tout à l'heure, le temps peut être un petit peu serré, on le saura au fur et à mesure de l'épreuve. Et ensuite, ici, il faut venir, pareil, dans le tempo, dans le galop, un spa qui fait 2,20 m de large.
Ouais. 1,55 de haut, 2,20 m de large.
Donc il faut essayer de ne pas être trop long dans la distance.
Ah oui, avec triple après.
Oui, voilà. Oui. C'est ça le gâteau, on va dire. Et ensuite, derrière, ici, on a compté 7 foulées un tout petit peu en tenant. Ce qui n'est pas plus mal pour protéger le vertical d'entrée et l'Auxerre du milieu, qui est une distance sur une foulée un tout petit peu courte.
Que les Longines aient été en obstacle simple, vertical, Auxerre, en double, s'il n'y a pas eu de triple encore. Donc, ils sont tombés énormément. Je ne sais pas si c'est le bleu marinier blanc.
C'est l'effet d'optique qui joue beaucoup. Il ne faut pas oublier une chose, c'est que nous on sait ce qu'on va avoir, c'est que les chevaux découvrent vraiment dans la dixième de seconde que c'est un droit, qu'il y a une foulée avec un observe et qu'il y a encore un vertical avec une foulée. Ça, le cheval ne le sait pas, faut pas oublier ça. Et quand vous vous mettez devant, on voit un tas de barres, on va dire, et voilà.
Barre blanche et barre noire, pour peut-être tromper encore un petit peu le visuel et surtout pas que le cheval se relâche, surtout que la sortie du trip est à 1m50. Tout est à 1m50 de haut et 1m60 de large pour l'observe longé, milieu de trip.
Distance, une foulée. Ici, il faut
un
prendre le
petit
galop.
Un petit peu d'eau maintenant.
Oui, et puis c'est le plus gros du parcours avec le dernier. Frédéric Cotier m'a dit que c'est les deux seuls verticaux qui étaient 1m60. C'est le numéro 7 et le dernier.
Donc, les barres vert et bleu aux couleurs de la région des Pays de la Loire, de l'eau aux pieds. Bon, normalement, ces chevaux-là n'ont plus peur de l'eau maintenant. Hein.
Pardon ?
Ces chevaux-là, normalement, n'ont plus peur de l'eau.
Normalement, non. À ce niveau-là, un cheval qui a peur de l'eau ne doit pas faire la combinaison normalement.
Et puis, il ne faut pas venir à la boule.
Déjà, il y en a partout.
1m60 pour le vertical de la région des Pays de la Loire. 1m60 on the water for the number 7.
Particularité, le bidet est ce qu'on appelle plus ou moins faux pied, c'est-à-dire que l'eau est derrière le vertical, donc il ne faut pas trop s'approcher. Ça aspire les chevaux dans le pied.
3 barres seulement de l'eau, donc on va voir les cavaliers peut-être utiliser un petit peu plus leur main pour les écarter de la bête.
Il faut protéger dans la zone d'abord, en tout cas la dernière foulée.
Oh, devant la tribune découverte, Mouse costaud, hyper large, 1m85 de large, les barres blanches de l'observe du groupe Lucien Barrière, juste devant la petite tribune.
Ouais,
il va pas falloir perdre de l'impulsion dans son virage. Hein.
Non, il faut garder le galop, le tempo, et je vous dis, il est très, très large, plus que gros que large, mais il est très large. Toujours un petit peu le long du public, les chevaux peuvent se déconcentrer un tout petit peu. Donc il faut faire attention là, à garder la concentration.
Il nous reste 7 minutes, ça va. Je croyais qu'on était en retard.
Non.
On a le temps de respirer. Est-ce que vous avez le temps de laisser respirer les chevaux pendant un parcours de Coupe des Nations? Là, le temps accordé, 82 secondes.
Oui, il faut toujours trouver un moment pour laisser un petit peu respirer. Et puis, je vous dirais, il faut que le cavalier aussi respire un petit peu. Donc, de temps en temps, il faut trouver un petit endroit, essayer de reprendre son souffle, respirer, garder bien sa concentration pour attaquer la deuxième partie du parcours en général.
Frédéric Cotier, chef de piste, là, il les entraîne un petit peu sur le saut en longueur avec cet observe à 1m85. Parce que là aussi, la rivière en numéro 9, toujours très importante, la rivière de la Baule.
Ouais. Jamais facile, 4 mètres exactement. Donc un vrai saut. Et puis on ouvre un petit peu les chevaux, c'est vrai. Donc quand vous avez un bon sauteur de rivière, c'est toujours plus agréable. Un cheval qui va un petit peu haut, qui garde de la hauteur pour la suite du parcours.
Interdiction de mettre un pied dans l'eau, évidemment. Et même sur la latte blanche, où il y a cette plasticine, et s'il y a la moindre marque sur cette plasticine, le juge de la rivière, je ne sais pas, je crois que c'est Madame Monnier qui sera juge de la rivière, Sylvie Monnier, lèvera sa main et ce seront 4 points de pénalité. 4 meters for the water.
Sauf le boulet.
Pardon?
Le boulet a le droit de toucher.
Ah, le boulet a le droit de toucher, vraiment. Bon. Oui, parce que le boulet plie énormément. Alors, on récupère l'équilibre. Oh là là, on ne voit pas la barre de derrière du tout sur l'observe. Les grandes barrières vert pâle, numéro 10.
Oui, je dirais c'est plutôt de remettre un petit peu les chevaux dans le calme ici, dans les 3 dernières foulées, essayer de faire un saut normal. C'est plutôt les plantes qui sont à l'intérieur qui font faire la faute. C'est-à-dire que quand vous avez des plantes comme ça à l'intérieur d'observe, les chevaux sont un petit peu aspirés vers le pied. Voilà. Ça change pas mal de choses.
Même s'il n'est pas large du tout, qu'il fait 1m10 de large seulement.
Oui. Faire attention par devant, en général, sur ce genre d'observe, c'est plutôt cette première part qui
Voilà, sur ce même obstacle.
Donc là, on est le dos à la porte, Là, je pense que la fatigue se fait ressentir un tout petit peu. Je pense que c'est à ce moment-là, plus qu'ailleurs, puisqu'on a une grande diagonale avant avec la rivière, et que là, il faut garder les chevaux très concentrés, très devant, parce que les chevaux peuvent décrocher, passer un petit peu derrière nous en sortie de tirage. Donc il faut garder de l'impulsion, un cheval tonique, pour sauter ces deux auxerres à deux foulées.
1,50 de haut l'entrée, 1,60 de large pour les barres bleues, avec 10,80 m entre les deux auxerres et les barres jaunes, 1,50 m de haut, un petit peu moins large, oui. 1,40 m de large, et il faudra rester encore vigilant, ne pas applaudir tant que ce n'est pas fini, car attention au vertical final Forosia FEI Nations Cup. Il y a beaucoup de couleurs, il est assez nouveau, et c'est le deuxième obstacle à 1,60 m. Hein.
Exactement. Cette foulée un tout petit peu en tenant, on a quand même sauté deux auxerres, mis un petit peu de pression, donc il faut garder du calme et de la sérénité avec les chevaux ici sur ce dernier vertical. Voilà, et pas trop s'en approcher.
Bon, je ne poserai pas la fameuse question combien de 100 fautes, je crois que même Philippe n'en sait rien. Dans une coupe, il ne se passe jamais ce qu'on attend.
Oui, surtout sur deux manches identiques. Il peut y avoir des bouleversements entre la première et la deuxième manche. On ne sait pas vraiment pourquoi, mais de temps en temps, ça change d'un seul coup et on ne sait pas pourquoi, mais ça peut arriver.
C'est cette pression de représenter votre nation, votre équipe qui change par rapport à une épreuve en individuel?
Pression, je dirais pas pression, mais l'enjeu, oui. L'enjeu, plus que la pression, d'essayer de faire au mieux pour son équipe, de défendre sa place en équipe, parce que quand on est en équipe de France, en tout cas, on a envie de rester. Et défendre sa place, montrer qu'on est là, qu'on est présent. Il y a une échéance de championnat d'Europe cette année qui est importante. Il y a des nouveaux couples qui arrivent en France, qui se battent pour rentrer dans cette équipe de France, qui, je crois, avec Philippe Gardin aujourd'hui, ont vraiment leur chance de montrer de quoi ils sont capables, comme Marc Dillasser aujourd'hui en l'occurrence. Voilà, donc il faut être présent. Quand on vous dit bah, c'est toi aujourd'hui, bah, c'est toi. Voilà.
Sachant que c'est la même chose pour les étrangers.
Bien sûr.
C'est pas pour rien que les Anglais alignent presque leur équipe championne olympique. Il va y avoir du très grand sport. Merci de remercier et de féliciter Philippe pour ses explications.
Merci à vous et merci au public de la Baule qui est toujours très fidèle et très prenant dans cette coupe des nations tous les ans. Voilà.
C'est vrai que tous les cavaliers et un Marcus Helling s'en souviendra toujours d'être, malgré qu'il soit allemand, accueilli par une standing ovation ici. Il en avait les larmes aux yeux. Il y a plein de cavaliers du monde entier qui ont des souvenirs parce qu'ils ont été applaudis, et pas comme ailleurs, par le public de la Baule. Alors, soyez sport, soyez bons. Je vous rappelle le temps accordé pour cette première manche. 82 secondes. At the moment, the time allowed for this first round. 82 seconds.
André Jacques?
Yes.
I don't like doing this, but I'm going to have to. Le temps accordé en fait est 84. 84.
Ah, 2 secondes de bonus.
Exactly.
Bon, ils vont apprécier, maman l'a dit. Ça veut pas dire qu'il n'est pas court pour autant. Tout est prêt? Vos stylos? J'espère que vous avez les mains bien échauffées, les petits drapeaux. Soyez tout simplement comme d'habitude. 4 télévisions sont depuis quelques minutes maintenant en direct. Et c'est à vous d'accueillir la Forosia FEI Nations Cup Et la réunion de mesdames et messieurs, car c'est avec la même que le pays de sort cet après-midi. Numéro 1 dans l'équipe, le vice-champion olympique de Sydney, avec comme alors, monsieur Adam.
Good luck to you, Sauf pour l'instant, si vous regardez le chronomètre d'origine, 86,07. Soit pour l'instant, vous savez que depuis cet élément du jury, 3 chevaux pour éventuellement l'allure pour si on ne pas bouger. Pour l'instant, 1 point.
Indeed, he did perfect in the arena, but for the moment he has one time penalty slightly over the 84 seconds allowed.
Mais il ne faut pas que ça vous empêche votre petit Albert partir en over, en premier. Bon, on a déjà un petit peu de stratégie qui commence. Sauf qu'on va encore là, envie de proche. Bien quand il y en a de boulot que du bien.
Bravo Albert.
Albert, notamment. Donc, on peut dire que c'est parce que je pense que ça lui fait peur aussi. On commence à faire des choses. Sois gentil ici. Le couleur de salle qui arrive avec celle qui fait une saison 2012 magnifique et on enchaîne très bien tout récemment avec la 8e place dans le Grand Prix sous la dernière Grand Palais. Vous applaudissez Bilal, Crescia, Corda, Molo et Corda Alta. Choc la première chance espagnole. Espagne qui doit dire la seule. L'année dernière, la coupe de Barcelone.
That's right. You're currently watching from Spain. That was where she was 8th in the 5-star Grand Prix in Paris in April under the great nef of the Grand Prix. She's riding with 11-year-old there. And she's currently in the top 100 after a great season in 2012. Spain back in level for the first time since 2010. With this new format of the Nations Cup, the FEI Nations Cup presented by Longines.
Elle arrive avec un très joli tour, et encore un petit peu le temps est passé. Il y a 3 secondes et 17 centièmes de trop, 87-17, soit également 1 point.
3 hundredths of a second to slow down, so clear and we also have some time penalties, 1 per minute so far, same result as for the Netherlands.
Comme quoi le monde est tout petit et encore plus petit avec Félicia maintenant. Dans l'équipe irlandaise, il y en a un qui vit pratiquement tout le temps aux États-Unis, l'autre qui vit au Danemark, l'autre en Allemagne, l'autre en Irlande. Lui est souvent aux États-Unis, il vient de gagner le Grand Prix de Wellington. C'est la première chance irlandaise. Merci d'applaudir Shane Switnam et Alberto Taco. Il est 42e mondial chez
Number 42 in the Longines World Rankings and the first member for the team of Ireland who won the stage here in the Baule in 2011, Shane Sweetman and Amarati Tonka.
Et l'arrivée, c'est dans le temps.
Good job, Ireland, and the European, Shane Sweetman.
Il est dans le temps 83 secondes et 10 centièmes. Et je viens d'entendre à côté de moi les juges nous dire que nous gardons le temps de 84 secondes. Ça va apporter encore un petit peu plus de piquant à notre histoire.
Time limit is confirmed. Time limit is 84 seconds.
Qui remettra le Grand Prix de France, le Grand Prix Longines en jeu dimanche. Mesdames et messieurs, ce Mix Captain est devant vous avec son Big Star.
Big Star is a big obviously performer with his rider, Olympic gold, next 1,000, 4 Great Britain in the first rider, and obviously winner of our Grand Prix last year.
Yes. Le numéro 9 mondial, le champion olympique par équipe, signe, je ne sais pas moi, son 10 millième sans faute de sa carrière, quelque chose comme ça, et ouvre très très bien pour l'équipe britannique. 1 point pour les Hollandais, 1 point pour les Espagnols, sans faute pour 0 pour l'Irlande et 0 pour la Grande-Bretagne.
A perfect performance for next Belgian, obviously Olympic champion, winner of the Grand Prix, and 0 on his scoreboard, 1 for the Netherlands.
Dans le winning round pour le French Tour Generali, il était déjà de l'équipe gagnante l'année dernière, de l'équipe deuxième il y a 2 ans. Il ouvre pour l'équipe belge, Dirk de Meersman, mais tout de l'eau pour le French Tour.
Goes into the ring and representing Belgium with the second Buffalo they won the Nations Cup here last year. They were also second in 2011 and also came in with the team bronze from the World Equestrian Games in Mexico. Dirk de Visser.
Malheureusement, 15 petits centièmes de trop, 15 centièmes, 84,15, ça va coûter un petit point également. Mais oui, vous pouvez encore les applaudir, attention, hein, chaque nation a mis un mètre en numéro 1. Vous voyez les parcours sans faute.
With his own Cavity G, a 10-year-old Holstein by Caratino. For Germany. Germany got a couple of established, well, somebody's had a fence down anyway, established stars, if you like, in Holger here, and also the evergreen Lars Nyberg, and two younger but very capable younger riders, Katrin Eckermann and Patrick Stuhlmeier. Biggish water, but they're jumping it well. Every horse has jumped it really, really well so far. Modern show jumpers, they're purpose-bred jumping horses. They're natural-born water jumpers. He's got a time fault. Time faults are going to play a big part, aren't they? It's 9. Heine Engelmann, chef to keep for Germany this week. Otto Becker, the senior chef to keep for Germany, having a week off. No doubt he'll be back for possibly Rome, I would think. They come in quick succession, these Nations Cups. Rome is on the 23rd of May and St Gallen 30th the following week. And then a couple of weeks to Rotterdam in the middle of June. And then the great Aachen, Falsterbo in Sweden in July. And then in the first 2 weeks of August, Hickstead and Dublin. Paul Esterman now on this great mare, Castlefield Eclipse. She's a smasher, jumps a lot of clear rounds. This will give us a good yardstick as to the time, because on her normal form she should jump this course this afternoon doing handsprings. He's just turned in very short there, looked at that fence, just pinched a second or two, which is a right shrewd move. If you can get a second or a couple of seconds early in a round without too much danger of having a fence, it's a great advantage. Whoa, that was unlike her. She just went straight on and hit that for 6. Irish bred mare, this. That little turn that he had that earlier fence just paid him off well. Okay, he's had a fence down, but saved him a bit of time. He was a couple of seconds inside the time, but he, you know, being well aware of it, and he's only 2 seconds inside, but he's definitely tight. Now the home side revving up. Got a fairly strong team here this afternoon. Penelope Lepreveau here goes first, and her partner Kevin Stote goes last, but between them they've got Marc Delassa, who jumped a double clear in Lumen very recently with the same horse, and Olivier Guillon. So it is a strong team for France on their home ground. They like to win here. They've done so on many occasions. I would say the British also are fielding there about as good a team as they could muster at the moment. And Britain, interestingly, have never won here. This Nations Cup has been in La Baule here for about 40 odd years, 43 years to be exact, and the Brits have never won it yet. But I would say there would be a short price to win it today, because they're strong on quality and they've already got off to a great start with Nick Skelton jumping a clear. Interestingly, Penelope on this very good water jumper just let him keep coming all the way around that corner there, keep galloping. She's shaving every corner. It's a long way from that fence back to this next fence. 84 seconds the time allowed. She's okay, just. But she let him travel there. Oh, she's got a time fault. 9.19 of a second over. She tried her living best all the way around there not to have a time fault. She shaved every corner. She's giving her a pat, looking a bit disconsolate because she's looked at that board to her right. It's a brilliant scoreboard there, and there Philippe Gourdat looking disconsolate too, because he knows how expensive that time fault could be. Penelope cannot be blamed for that. This time is tight. The course is small-ish. I don't mean that to denigrate it at all, to run it down, but it is not a serious track at all. It's a nice track, but the time is very tight. Frédéric Cotillier has given it, and he's taken it away. So, after the first horse of every team has gone, I don't think I've ever seen this before, but we've got 2 clears, 1 on 4, 1 on 9, and no less than 4 of the 8 on 1 time fault for the Netherlands. Jan Hendrik Stuttert He's only 23. He's one of two brothers both jumping in this Nations Cup this afternoon. His younger brother Frank goes next for the United States. Frank's 19. Jan Henrik is 23. And Jan, here, he won the Grand Prix in Hickstead last year and in Copenhagen. Copenhagen actually next weekend. I can see the Netherlands being at least as big a threat internationally this year as they've ever been. They've got a terrific backup team. Well, some of them here today, like these two talented brothers, Albert Vaughan and Leon Tyson, to back up the teams like Mark Hautzager, Gerke Schroeder, etc., etc. And the Dutch could really field three Nations Cups with ease any weekend of the year. But that is not a great start for them this afternoon. That surely they would need that to be, that's another time fault. They would need that to be their discard score, because 9 faults round here this afternoon is not good enough. It wasn't a bad round, you know. Jan Hendrik rode a good round, but a couple of mistakes and a time fault could be just a little bit off the pace here this afternoon.
Allez, l'Espagne, qui a un petit point de handicap pour l'instant avec Pilar, demande à nouveau des encouragements qui sont heureux de revenir ici. À la Baule, ils ont gagné une fois le vainqueur du Grand Prix, la Frontera du Grand Prix, Manuel Fernandez Salo et le vice-champion du monde, championnat qui s'appelle Baule, la FIBA, qui a 10 ans.
The second completion for Spain and Spain will be the first country of the football of this new side of the Nations Cup. It will be held from 26 to 29 September in Barcelona.
Right now for Spain, they had one of the time faults with Pilar Lucrecia caught on Muro, and now Manuel Fernandez Saro. He's been out of the limelight of the top teams for about 4 years for Spain, because he hasn't really had horses good enough, to be honest. But he's jumped on many Nations Cups. He actually jumped in Aachen in the World Championships in 2006. And you don't do that unless you're going very well indeed to even get there. He was with Paul Schockemöller for 8 or 9 years, and then set out on his own. And now he's got this good horse, Bonaire. 10-year-old Oldenburg by Balabeda Rouet. What a great stallion he is. Oh, he's got to be in that. Ooh. You can't change your mind halfway to a water jump of that size and try and add a stride and get away with it. That just did not work. Another on time faults. 5, so that's 5 and a 1. The fact that they've both had a time fault, Pilar and Manuel, will balance each other out a little bit, because collectively they've got 2 time faults, and 2 is no worse than 1. Well, I don't know really, it could be this afternoon. There's that many of them getting time faults. 2 could actually, obviously, is worse than 1, and that could make a difference. Now for Ireland, Shane Breen. Great character, Shane. Living, of course, at Hickstead in Great Britain now, married to Chloe Bunn, daughter of the great Douglas Bunn of Hickstead fame. Mother Mary Unfortunately, not too well at the moment. We wish her all the best. Back there in Cashel, County Tipperary. And this is a good horse. Shane does think the world of him. He's only a 10-year-old stallion. Another one by Baule de Rouet. Shane widely recognised by his colleagues, his contemporaries, colleague show jumpers, as one of the most talented, outstanding talents in the world. Rarely has had horses good enough to complement his great talent. When you give him one that's good enough, he's as good as there is. And this is a nice horse. I like this. I've never seen him before. He's just going to make the time, and that's a brilliant round there. Oh, you can't get a lot closer than that. Roberts played, looking at the board to make sure he was inside. Now he says, yes, that's all right. He's inside the time. So a great start there for Ireland. What a corking round that was there for Shane Breen to go along there with the other clear from Shane Sweetenham. The best so far, but a long way to go yet. Ireland on a clean sheet. And that is a lovely, lovely horse. I've never seen him before. My goodness, that's a jumper. As neat as they make him in front. Great technique. Shane can let him travel. Let him get there. Trust him to jump the fences. And when he gets there, he really pings up off the floor. And that's what it means to the chef to keep. Another new combination here. Ben Mayer for Britain. Ben, of course, now spent last winter anyway in the United States. Now rides for Jane Clark. Great string of horses that he took over there. And this is one of them. Chella, 11-year-old Belgian warm blood mare. Whoops. He's had some great results throughout the winter months as Ben, and of course along with Nick Skelton, Scott Brash and Peter Charles, who's not here, 3 members of the British team gold medal winning team of London last year, here this afternoon. Each team, of course, can nominate. They had to nominate in February which Nations Cups they were going to nominate, from which they can earn points. They've got to earn enough points to get through to the final, the Furacia final in Barcelona in September. And this is one of Britain's nominated shows. Four nations that have elected to go for points today are Ireland, Britain, Switzerland and France. Rather disappointed Robbie Hoekstra there. That 4-faulter for Ben Mayer.
Belge maintenant, un membre de l'équipe qui l'année dernière gagnait la combinaison de Lisbonne et il gagne il y a quelques semaines le Grand Prix de Vimero en compagnie de cheval de 11 ans, un cheval belge également encore Rodrigo.
Still pretty solid start for Britain. Clear for Nick Skelton, just one down for Ben Mayer. Scott Brash goes next and Robert Smith goes last. Now for Belgium, Dominique Hendricks. They've got Dirk de Meersman there, Kurt Gravemeyer on the left there, German-born Kurt, but now chef to keep to the Belgian team. And this Cor van der battering over 11-year-old gelding, and by Ben Vevers. Their team completed today by one of the twin boys, Olivier Philipparts, and of course father Ludo goes last for them. It's always the worst job being a chef to keep, because when you're an owner of one horse or a rider, you've only got your own horse to worry about. When you're chef to keep, you worry about 4. Another one with a time fault. So that's 2 Belgians gone, 2 very good rounds, and 2, well, 1 and 1 time fault ruined 2 clear rounds. It's certainly going to be a feature, isn't it, the time this afternoon? I'm going to stop whittling on about it now, because it's so obvious now this time is very tight, and it's difficult to actually pick up any time around here without galloping and chance taking a pole with you, because we've seen a lot of riders, but Penelope Leprevo was just one, and several more like her, shaved these corners off to try and get inside the time, and still had a time fault. So this is a very important round indeed, even at this stage now for Germany. And they've got 2 lesser-known riders. I'm not saying they're lesser riders, but lesser-known riders, and this is one of them, Katrin Eckermann. And they've had an uncharacteristic start there for Holger Wulschner, who had 9 in the first round. Only 23, Catherine. She was in the Young Riders European Championship team. Another 22-year-old in Patrick Stuhlmeier goes next for them. She was second in the Global Championship in Hamburg. Deep to that, the horse just exploded over it and jumped it for the fun of it. Nice horse. 12-year-old gelding. Close to the time, but just no, not quite going to do it. And Heiner says, well, you can imagine what he said. A 9 and a 1 for Germany. Not looking good for them at the moment. Same as the Netherlands, they're sharing 7th place at the moment, but we're nearly a quarter of the way through, so it's a bit early yet for making predictions. But you can't escape the fact that a 9 and a 1 would have been a little bit less than Heiner Engelmann would have wanted. Best so far, Ireland on 2 clears. Belgium on 2 with 1. clear and 4 for Britain, 1 and 5 for Spain. Switzerland 4 with their first horse, Baule Esteban, surprisingly. But now Steve Gerdat. Urs Grunig, their chef to keep. Steve Gerdat, of course, only just a matter of a little more than days ago, really, in Gothenburg a couple of weeks ago. Second in the World Cup final in that dramatic jump off with Beezy Madden, who eventually won it on Simon. Steve on his, of course, he was Olympic gold medalist, as we all know, and we'll always remember that wonderful afternoon in London 2012 on that fabulous horse Nino de Buissonnet. But in setting up a really impossible time to beat, fell foul of the last 2 fences and handed it on a plate to Beezy. A jump off that you'll never, anyone who ever saw it will never forget. And as I said earlier in the programme, they're certainly the biggest courses I've ever seen, let alone indoors and let alone in Gothenburg. This is a nice horse, Nasa. 12-year-old Celle Francais mare by Kumano and by Ursi Schwarzenbach. Clear jumping, 1 time fault. 1 second. 1 fault rather. Time and over 4 seconds, 1 for every 4 seconds, or part of thereof. There's no doubt about it, these horses are really jumping off this ground this afternoon. Last one now to go in the first quarter. This is the last of the second horses in this first round of this Furisia Nations Cup. There is Philippe Gerdat, father of Steve Gerdat, chef to keep, newly appointed chef to keep for France this year. Marc Delassa. And what a good run France are having. They've won 2 of these Nations Cups in Drammen and Lumen. And Marc Delassa here, with this very horse, jumped a double clear in Lumen. But he's had 1 this afternoon and the 3rd fence down. And noticeably in a hurry, as you would be. Gasp of dismay from the French crowd. Well, 2 down. So we're 25% of the way through, just a quarter of the way through. Let's have a look down the list. The Netherlands now on 10, after 2 riders this is. Spain on 6, Ireland in front on 0, Britain on 4, Belgium on 2, their second best so far. Germany on 10, Switzerland on 5 and France on 9. Long way to go.
Pour la 4 et 1 pour la Suisse, 1 et 8 pour la France, tout est encore revenu. Troisième équipier, nous retrouvons les vestes orange avec ce jeune et talentueux garçon qui est
Here's the team Netherlands. I always think those captions are very misleading because they're, you know, in my book they're not on one fault at the moment. They tend to, nothing wrong with it, I suppose, as long as you know what they're doing. But they've already deleted the discard score. Fair enough. I mean, somebody could fall off in a minute, and they would have to count that 9. So, although they say they're on 1, they've deleted the 9 faults of Jan-Henrik Stuttgart. This is his younger brother, Frank, who's only 19, which is young enough to be in a Nations Cup of this magnitude, but he's a capable young man. Going to double clear in Alain with this horse, Winchester, 10-year-old Dutch-bred gelding by Numero Uno. Rob Aarons. Have to keep. Ooh, that was a bit unlucky. First time anyone's had that out part of the combination. There's rails, not many rails falling anyway round here, but what there has been fairly well spread out. Look at the pace he's having to go to get inside this time. He's got a time fall as well. And a fence down, so that's 5. So not looking great for the Netherlands at the moment. And I think Rob's demeanour would reinforce that. A 1, a 9 and a 5, 15 at the moment. Leon Tyson to come. Now for Spain. Baule and Melibia. Birthday girl, 27 today. She had a great relationship with a good horse, the former Scott Smith horse, Ride Cabridel. Rode him in Mannheim in 2007. And only spends about 6 months a year in Europe. She's married actually to Federico Fernandez, so understandably she spends 6 months in Mexico, but March to October in Europe on the circuit. Good rider. Spain on 5 and 1 so far. And she's going to need to have to kick for home because she's got time faults for sure. 2 seconds over. There is Federico Fernandez, Mexican rider, international rider himself. A very good rider indeed, been around on the circuit for a long, long time at top level, Federico. And there it is, 2 with a time fault, or 3 with a time fault if you count the 5. A good rider yet to come for Spain though, Manuel Anon Suarez. Right, Ireland. They would have every chance of finishing on a 0 score after the first round, Ireland, because Shane Carey here has been going well, riding this good horse. Ballymore Eustace, a great Irish name that is. And Billy Toomey with the good mare Tinker Serenade goes last. Clear and clear from the 2 Shanes, Sweetenham and Breen. If he were to go clear, which he's not going to do, I was going to say that Shane Breen, rather Billy Toomey, wouldn't have to go, but he will now, because, and he'll want to clear, will Billy, because this is the discard score. Right, 2 clears and an 8. Great new series, this Furacea Nations Cup, FEI Nations Cup series, in conjunction with Saudi Equestrian. 22 Nations Cups worldwide in 6 divisions, and 2 in Europe, Division 1, which this is one of the Division 1 shows, and Division 2. 37 nations taking part in total, and this is the 6th of the 22 today. Now for Great Britain, Britain's 3rd rider, Olympic team gold medalist Scott Brash. This good horse, 11-year-old Hello Sanctos. Clear for Nick Skelton, 1 fence down for Ben Mayer, and that's Robbie Hoekstra, British chef to keep. Do without a time fault to add to that pole. His time faults could play a big part. He's not going to get time faults. He's travelling sensibly to that and gets away with it, and he's inside the time. Just that first part of the combination down. But the British team there, Robbie Hoekstra, will be looking for a clear round from Robert Smith, and we could well get it, because voila, his lovely Dutch-bred mare has been going very well. We shall see. Robert Smith jumped a double clear in Baule in the First Nations Cup. Won by the Netherlands, that was. Baule, of course, in the United Arab Emirates. Now for the Philipparts family and Belgium. Olivier Philipparts, 20 years of age, one of twins. Gabriel van der Heffing. 11-year-old stallion by Cassini. Good stallion. Belgium on 2 at the moment, 2 faults at the moment, now 6. Grey hair goes with the territory where Scheffler keeps are concerned, isn't it? Not hard to understand why. Dear. He'll be looking to Father Ludo, who goes next for Belgium, to get rid of this 8. No time faults, but 12 jumping faults. Surely the discard score for Belgium. 3 more to go of the 3rd round riders. If you've just joined us, and I know we have people joining us worldwide all the time in different time zones. We're here at Baule on the west coast of France for this, the 6th Nations Cup, Furacea Nations Cup, Furacea FEI Nations Cup series. And we're nearly at the end of the 3rd rider from each nation. And it's a very open competition at the moment. This course, not over demanding, set by Frédéric Cottier. Now the 3rd of the German riders. Germany need a clear round, really. They've got a 9 and a 1. The veteran Lars Nyberg goes next for them, but in the meantime Patrick Stuurmeyer. "22-year-old Patrick. He's a very successful young rider indeed. He was 3 European Championships, 1 pony and 2 young riders. And that's always a good omen for a rider to have that sort of record at such an early age. Heine Engerman, the many good German riders on the Grand Prix circuit himself, turned chef to keep. There can be no doubt about it that they'll all be These riders, they won't need to have instructions, for goodness sake, they'll know their job themselves, but Chef de Keef will be impressing on them to keep their foot down and try and avoid time faults. They're having to, even if they're hurrying, they're having a job to avoid them. One fence to go, he's clear, and he's going to be okay. Just the chance, ooh, just inside the time, and that's what Germany needed. That is a very welcome round indeed for Germany, to get rid of that 9 faults and the hugely capable and vastly experienced Lars Nyberg yet to come. That's put a smile on Henrik's face. That's a bit better, he says. Lovely guy, Heine. Knows his job inside out. The riders all like him. And he does a great job as Chef de Keef. And a big pat for the horse too. Well done, says Patrick. A rider with a great future. Right, 2 more to go in these third riders. And this is another very capable rider indeed, Janneke Sprunger from Switzerland, one of many good lady riders in Switzerland. They're well blessed with horses and riders, Switzerland, always have been. They've always been a force to be reckoned with. But they've got some corking lady riders at the moment, and this is one of them. She rides Palabé d'Along, a 10-year-old Self-Francais, by who else? Balabé de Rouet, and by Georges Carny. Pierre Schwitzer to come for Switzerland, and Switzerland have got a 4 for Paul Esterman. I bet he doesn't have that in the next round. There's Grunig, the Chef de Keef there, and just 1 from Olympic champion Steve Gerdat, so they're on 5 so far. This could well be a clear, because this is a good combination, Janneke Sprunger and this horse. Sun poking through now here in La Baule. It's been a sunny morning, overcast when we started. As I said earlier, they've had a lot of rain here, which has produced, this ground has stood it very well. It's produced absolutely perfect ground in this wonderful purpose-built arena right in the middle of a very salubrious housing estate in this wonderful seaside resort. There's so many luxury hotels, and a good round here. A very good round indeed for Janneke Sprunger. Now Switzerland really got their tails in the air now, because they've had a 4 and a 1 and now a clear. And Pierce Schwitzer, Evergreen Pierce, goes last with a very good horse of Max Howry's Power Play. So 1 more clear could leave them on 1 fault at the halfway stage, and they would be about, well, they'd be the only team that could do that. Ireland actually could finish up on 0 because they've got two clears and an 8. If Billy Toomey can go clear, Ireland could actually lead at the halfway stage. But I've long ago learned not to be making accurate predictions in Nations Cups, because things can go wrong. Things do go wrong. Pressure gets to riders, gets to horses. They all have to do it twice. Some come out better the second round, some come out worse. And here's one horse now for France that never seems to jump a bad round. He had a bad fall a couple of years ago in Madrid in the Nations Cup there, European Championships. And but he seems to have, took him a while, in my opinion, took him a while to get over it, the horse that is. Wasn't quite the same for a while, but he's back to his good form again now. He's a lovely horse. 14-year-old Self-Francais gelding by Donald Rouge. That's a lovely way of doing it, just bowling along. Be unlikely to get time faults because because he's got this big, long, raking stride. But Olivier just taking a fair few pulls to try and leave all the poles intact. Will that cost him a time fault? Penelope Lepreveau tried her best not to have a time fault and got one. Marc Delassa has had 2 down, and they've got the superstar Kevin Stote to come, but still clear so far for Olivier Guillon. 84 seconds that time allowed. He's okay. He'll be okay. He's got to leave this up though. And he's done that. A good round there for France. And that is just what Philippe Gourdat was looking for, because now they can, hopefully, they can discard that 8. And at the halfway stage, if Kevin Stote could go clear, they could be bang up there, top of the table, on just 1 fault. But Kevin Stote has got a new ride this afternoon. Sylvana, the great grey mare Sylvana, having a rest, and a cracking round there for Olivier Guillon on this very, very good horse, Lord de Thèse, on his top championship form. That, of course, as I said earlier on, is with all the discards course taken off. Ireland on 0, they've got there, but of course it's hypothetical yet until the other horses have gone, because Ireland have really actually got to get rid of the 8 faults of Shane Carey's. Admittedly, they've got 2 clears from Shane Sweetenham and Shane Breen. I shouldn't think that's ever been done before. 3 riders in one team sharing the same Christian name. 3 Shanes. Not as if it's a common name anyway, but it is a little bit more in Ireland. Last to go now for France. No, it isn't. Of course, it's Switzerland. As I said, Pierre Schwitzer with this very good horse, Power Play. I'm talking absolute rubbish, I'm sorry. This, of course, is Leon Tyson for the Netherlands. Haven't turned the page over. Very good horse, this. He's got better and better with age and experience. Dutch bred horse. He's 13 now, actually, by numero uno. Another good stallion. A real little acrobat of a horse, but he's on time faults. Very good round indeed. Just 1. So they want to get rid of the 9. They're on 7 at the end of the first round. Super round for Tyson.
Et c'est l'Espagne qui demande retraite maintenant, car ils sont vraiment toujours dans la course aussi. Mohamed Alon sur l'Est et Georg Timet. Alors voilà, je vais vous passer la troisième journée du Grand
Now, for Spain again, Manuel Anon Suarez. only a 9-year-old, this gelding. What a great record this young man has got. As a junior, individual, and European champion young riders, gold team, individual bronze in 2009. This is not what they were looking for, because they haven't got a clear round yet, Spain. They've got a 1 for Pilar Cordon Muro, 5 for Manuel Fernandez Saro, and 1 for Paola Amelibia. And now a couple of poles on the ground here for Manuel Anon. 3 fences to jump, 84 seconds to get home in as well, and that's another one on the ground, so this is not good news. Obviously this is the discard score for Spain. 17. So they'll discard that and finish on 7. At the moment, 2 on 7. Netherlands and Spain level pegging at the moment. Not a very good round at all there for Manuel Anon Suarez. Uncharacteristic. Disappointing. Right, Billy Toomey. Billy deserves a change of fortunes, actually, because he's had a lot of problems with his back, and he had a major operation on his back, which did help a bit, and then he had a bad fall. And I must say, Billy, who normally looks a picture of health, looks a little bit gaunt, if you know him well. Lost a bit of weight and not looking his usual radiant self, but he's been riding very well. And he's 3rd in Valencia with this good mare, Tinker's Serenade, by Tinker's Boy out of Serenade. Both former rides of Nick Skelton, actually. Good mare she is, unorthodox but a good mare, owned by Sue Davis, a long-time patron of Billy's, great supporter of show jumping, the Davises. They could have done without that. They want to get rid of that 8 of Shane Carey. They've got 2 clears, but they would have been banking on another clear round here from Billy. That's a disappointment there, which shows on the face of Robert Splain. So they'll discard that 9 and finish on 8. 3rd best so far. It's still a long way to go. We're less than nearly at the halfway stage, and a grim-faced Robert there. They started so well, the Irish, with 2 clears from Shane Sweetenham and Shane Breen, but then an 8 and a 9 from Shane Carey and Billy Toomey has dented that somewhat. Right. Robert Smith, Evergreen Robert, been a great rider for a very long time indeed now, and he's now got a horse after a few years. He sold a very good horse recently, but bought this one from Albert Zoa, the good mare, Voila. She's 11 now, Dutch bred mare by Calvados. And she really is coming to herself now. She jumped a double clear in Alain in the United Arab Emirates, the first of these FEI Nations Cups. Quite a while ago now, it wasn't, but it was the first of 6. This is the 6th of 22 worldwide. Several horses had that rail down over that water tray. Just having a look at it, it's quite a deep water under it and very garish, very bright looking. Robert in a fairish easy tempo at the moment, in danger of getting time faults. He won't be far off. Just, well, 2nd and 3/4 over. So that's 5 for Robert, which is the discard score, leaves Britain level pegging with Ireland at the halfway stage. 2 on 7, 2 on 8 at the moment. Belgium, they could finish on 2 if they get a clear round with the next to go, Ludo Philipparts. But suddenly, from looking a very easy course indeed, there's a lot of horses now having rails on the ground. I still don't think it's a tough course by any manner of means, but I think Frédéric Cottier, for a first Nations Cup of the year, no doubt he'll get a good result. He'll get the right result, but he hasn't gone to the wire really with severity, with height, width, or whatever. But perhaps he has a little bit with the time allowed. Germany could go in front with 1 down, with 1 fault rather, if Lars Nyberg goes clear. Be a switcher if he jumps a clear. Switzerland can join them on 1. And France could, if Kevin Stout jumps a clear, they could finish up on 1. Unusual result that would be. Very much all to play for. Now Belgium, Ludo Philipparts, veteran Ludo, of many Nations Cups for Belgium. Rider, of course, of the great Darko, who's been such an influence to breeding in Belgium, and a lot of his sons have too. Wouldn't mind having a bit of Darko in a show jumper's pedigree or a show jumping broodmare's pedigree. They've got a 1 from Dirk de Meersman, a 1 from Dominique Hendricks, and 12 from Ludo's son, Olivier. An offence that he could have done without having there, because there's no way now that Belgium will be in front at the halfway stage. Inside the time, just 1 down for Belgium. Discard the 12, they finish up the best so far, actually, still on 6. So now, interesting situation now, nearly at the halfway stage. These Nations Cups never take off really take off until halfway through the 2nd round. But what they do in the 1st round, obviously very instrumental in where they go thereafter. But with this situation we're in now, there's 3 teams, all of which, if the last rider, Lars Nyberg for Germany, Peter Schwitzer for Switzerland, and Kevin Stout for France, and 3 world-class riders, if any of them goes clear, they could leave their respective teams on 1 at the halfway stage. They've all got a clear and 1 somewhere in their scores, and they've got a 9, a 4 and an 8 to discard those 3 nations. This is the first of them, Lars Nieberg for Germany. A 10-year-old Westphalian mare, this. But none of them, you won't need me to tell you that none of them would relish a time fault as well, and that's had a fence down, so they're not going to lead at the halfway stage. Assuming that one of the next 2 jump clear, because if he goes clear from here on in and doesn't have a time fault, they'll go into the lead so far, with 2 big dangers yet to come on 5. Time's tight, but he's going to make it. Just oh no, he's over, just over. So that time fault could be expensive as well. He'll discard the 9, they'll go on to 6, which will take them level at the moment with Belgium. Interesting. Tight at the top, very tight indeed. So as I see it at the moment, Belgium and Germany both on 6, getting progressively less faults as we go along. Britain and Ireland on 8, and Netherlands and Spain on 7. So it's very tight all the way through. But if this top international rider, former #1 in the world, Peer Schwitzer, can go clear for Switzerland, and he could well do on this very good horse of Max Haury's. Only a 9-year-old, Holstein by Casal. His power play, if he goes clear, Switzerland could lead at the halfway stage on 1. They've got a 4 from Paul Esterman, a 1 from Steve Gerda, Olympic champion, and a brilliant clear for Yannick Sprunger. And already Pierce just letting this nice horse travel, because he doesn't want a time fault as well, obviously. This is one of the turns that is a big problem here, a 360-degree turn, or thereabouts. Always wastes time, and he's turned in very short to that. You risk having a back pole, but that oxer's not that wide. Forward 7 to this oxer. This is a nice horse. Max Haury's got some nice horses at the moment. He always has that, but he's always been inclined to, as a dealer, professional dealer, to sell them. But he's got a nice horse here, and another nice, lovely chestnut horse with Pierce as well. He won't get time faults. This man is too canny for that. Four fences to go. This horse jumping a smashing round. He's running around that corner. 84 seconds is the time allowed. He's okay. Ooh. Change of leg in there. Oh, what a brilliant round there for Switzerland. Over 3 seconds, 2 seconds over inside the time. A brilliantly judged round for this world-class rider, Peer Schwitzer. And now that is looking good there for Switzerland at the halfway stage. A long, long way to go yet, but Urs Grönig there, the chef d'equipe, looking justifiably very pleased indeed, because they'll discard that 4 and finish up at the halfway stage on 1. And a spectacular round there for this very good horse belonging to Max Haury. And brilliantly ridden there by Piers Spitzer. A class act, horse and rider there. A class combination, and it looked it too. Now, France, this home crowd, well aware of how finely tuned this competition is at the moment, and that France could join Switzerland in the lead on one fault at the halfway stage. And no better man to stand the pressure than this one. A man for the big occasion, but a man on a newish horse. I haven't seen this one before. Estoy Aquí de Meuse. 9-year-old, only a 9-year-old mare by Melito de Rev, former European champion in Windsor 2009, Kevin Stote. Right there at the sharp end a couple of weeks ago in the World Cup final in Gothenburg with and that's that. Now they've got to count that 4 at least, assuming that he doesn't have any more. So the best they can be at the halfway stage is 5. Dodgy moment there. Doesn't want another one. Time is just okay. A brilliant round there, as we get to expect from this hugely talented Frenchman. He, on a horse that isn't accustomed to this sort of level of competition in a Nations Cup. And well carried round there. Jumped a good round, the mare did, but brilliantly ridden by Kevin Stote. They finish up on 5. So, according to my reckoning, Switzerland are at the top of the pile at the halfway stage, thanks to those 2 brilliant clears from Piers Spitzer and Yannick Sprunger. They discard Paul Esterman's 4, and 1 time fault there for Steve Gerd. That takes them into first place at the halfway stage. France on 5, Germany on, this is subject to the judges' confirmation, there it is anyway. Belgium on 6, as I was just about to say, equal with Germany. Netherlands equal 5th with Spain, Ireland and Great Britain. Surprisingly, I would have said Britain and Ireland would have been bang up there at the halfway stage, because Britain fielding their strongest team yet. But it's a long, long way from over, this is. And, but a great start there for Switzerland. A little bit of a break now, not very long, and a little bit of a breather and time to regroup. Everyone.
Information qui nous vient de M. Frédéric Cotier. L'obstacle numéro 3, RMC. Et l'obstacle blanc, l'énorme obstacle de 1,85 m de large, numéro 8, devant la tribune découverte, viennent d'être surélevés de 5 cm. Le numéro 3 passe maintenant à 1,60 m et l'observe numéro 8, 1,55 m de haut sur 1,85 m de large.
Which has just been raised by 75 centimetres. In that measures 1,60 m in height. The other change is to number 8, which is the white and grey boxer against a Vincent Mariner, which is now 1,55 m high and 1,85 m wide.
L'Irlande partira en numéro 1. La Grande-Bretagne en 2. Tous les deux avec 8 points. L'équipe des Pays-Bas en 3 avec 7 points. L'équipe d'Espagne en 4 avec 7 points également. la Belgique en 5 avec 6 points. En 6, l'Allemagne avec 6 points. En 7, la France avec 5 points. Et en 8, la Suisse, leader avec 1 point.
Well, welcome back to La Baule for the second round here now of the FEI Nations Cup. You've just seen the animation there of the course, and one or two of the fences have been raised a little bit, and Frédéric Cottier, the course designer, has decided they're jumping it quite easily, and there's quite a few clear rounds, and has decided to just make it a little bit more difficult for the second round. Switzerland in the lead by just one fence after the first round, just on one fault. Just by one fence margin from France on 5. Germany on 6, equal with Belgium on 6. 2 on 7, that's the Netherlands and Spain, and 2 on 8. Surprisingly, as I said earlier, Ireland and Great Britain both on 8, both on equal 7th position at the moment. Great facilities here at this lovely stadium. It's a purpose-built stadium for show jumping in particular, and it's right in the middle of, as you can see, a very upmarket housing estate, because this is a great, fashionable, quite chic resort on the northwest coast of France, very close to the great port of Saint-Nazaire, which played such a big part in the Second World War and is a big shipping port, of course, on the west coast of France. And the longest beach in Europe, flanked by a lot of very stylish hotels. It's a great place to hold a show. It's been here, held in La Baule here, the Nations Cup, for the last 43 years. And this stadium was there before that. Very picturesque stadium. Lovely atmosphere here, always is. So they'll go for the second round. They'll go in reverse order now. So we'll start with Ireland and then on to Belgium, Britain rather, the Netherlands and Spain on 7, and then Belgium on 6, Germany on 6 as well, France on 5, and Switzerland on 1. So, all to play for. Let's see if this slight raise in the fences makes any difference to the clear round roster. Let's have a look how many was. There was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clears in the first round. 7 out of 32. So that's about right, really. You know, he didn't jump badly, but of course the biggest influence at all there was the time faults, because if it hadn't have been for that, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no less than 9 riders that have were clear but had just one time fault. So away we go for Ireland. Shane Sweetenham. Amaretto Darko. Clear first round. Brilliant clear from this very talented young Irishman, but based in the United States. And this is a very good horse indeed. A couple of rubs down there in that treble combination. This water tray, that's gone up a hole. The third fence has gone up one hole as well. A little bit more width on this oxer here around the corner. No change to the water jump. green oxer there looks about a hole bigger. And now this last line, the time remains the same. Oh dear. Could you put that down to the fact that he was just hurrying to get the time? He's plenty of time actually. Well, say plenty. 2.5 seconds inside. And a bit of a nonplussed look there from Robert Splain, because that was, it got clear round written all over it again for Shane Sweetnam. But 2 fences on the ground there is not going to help Ireland's course to drag themselves up off equal 7th place after the first round. So now, rather surprisingly, we come to Great Britain, who I, for one, would have thought were one of the strongest teams here this afternoon. 3 riders for Britain from that winning gold medal team in London, in Greenwich, at the end of last summer. And this is one man that was so close. Not only did he win a team gold medal, so close to an individual medal with this fabulous horse of Beverly Widdowson's Big Star. Prolific Grand Prix winner, phenomenal run of success last year. I can't think of any horse in my lifetime anyway that's had such a phenomenal run of success as he did last year at the very highest level. Lovely stride Nick had into that combination. This is a long striding horse, and he wouldn't want too much forward movement into that fence, because it's not over long in there to that front rail of that oxer. And Nick, obviously so confident in this horse's ability, he's letting him travel to not get a clear time fault, because time faults could decide this afternoon. 84 seconds the time allowed. Skelly at his absolute best. Real hands-on round again, as he did in the first round. Clear first round. 2 fences, 84 seconds. He's all right. Just got to jump this vertical, and time to do it. And that's a fabulous round there for Nick Skelton for Britain. That gets them off to a great start in the second round. Just what the doctor ordered for Britain, and an absolutely brilliant riding performance from Nick Skelton, who at the age of 55 is every bit as good as he's ever been. And this horse, fresh and ready to go and ready to do the business again, and that's absolutely brilliant. Double clear round, the first double clear. How many more will we get? Superlative performance from Nick Skelton and Big Star. So now we go to the first of the Netherlands riders. Albert Vaughan just had 1 time fault in the first round. In other words, otherwise superb round. Just 1 time fault. Netherlands, pretty solid really. They had a 1, a 9, which was the discard, a 5 from Frank Schuttard, and a brilliant clear round otherwise from 1 time fault for Leon Tyson. You can't shake the feeling, 2 feelings really, ideas. One, that I've just said, that time fault could be very instrumental in this, but also that it looks like being very close. Notwithstanding the fact that Switzerland, of course, are 1 fence clear at the first round, but there are so many top nations, France and Germany, just to beat 2 of them, and Belgium, breathing down their necks. Look at the pace that Albert Vaughan is adopting here. He knows as good as anybody on this showground how important not getting another time fault is. And that's another superb round there, but he's got a time fault. Just how do you avoid it? Rob Aarons looks in amazement and thinks, just what more do you have to do to get inside this time? But a brilliant, brilliant performance there. Masterpiece of consistency from Albert Vaughan, who repeats his first round, clear round jumping, and repeats his time fault of the previous round. He didn't, quite honestly, I would say he didn't deserve either of that. But there it is on the board, but it's a pretty solid start again, as they did the last time. 4 is a lot worse than 1, but we shall see just what part it does play. Now, as Albert Vaughan goes out, Pilar Lucretia Cordon Muro is having all sorts of problems with this horse, Coriana Van Klapschuit, who actually very nearly refused to start the first time. As they say in the business, he's napping it, and now I should think Albert Vaughan will give her a lead. Ooh, don't kick her. Now she's gone. Quirky horse. But jumped a very good clear round for her in the first round. Just that one time fault. Did exactly the same coming in the ring. Napped it in the corner there. Wouldn't go forward, sideways, backwards anyway. And then suddenly just took a notion to go in, just as he did then. And then went quite happily round. Just got his own way of doing it, his own little way of saying, I'm going to have my say. And then goes and jumps a brilliant clear round. Can she do it again? Spain on 7 after the first round, and Pilar Cordon Muro here had just 1 fault, 1 time fault. With a mind of his own, isn't he? Chucks it in the corner there, nearly refuses to do it, and then goes in here and busts a gut for her to jump it. Out and out athlete of a horse. Very sharp, very active, but 2 safe ends. Really talented horse. Time is okay, and a superb round there again for this lovely horse, and inside the time. That's even better than the last time. She had 1 time fault in the previous round, clear this time, and a great start there for Spain. So in this halfway through the first horses, we've got an 8 for Ireland, surprisingly, following the clear round of his first round for Shane Sweetenham. A brilliant clear round for Nick Skelton. 1 time fault again for Albert Vaughan, another brilliant clear round, and an absolutely enigmatic performance from this acrobat of a horse and this talented Spanish lady, Pilar Lucretia Cordon Muro. Interesting Nations Cup this. This is going to get right to the wire. And this crowd have gone noticeably quiet when every horse is coming in the ring. It obviously is such a tight fought, or is going to be a tight fought Nations Cup. They can all sense it and see what's coming. 4 Belgium now, 6 faults at the halfway stage, and that's not going to help their cause, because this is Dirk de Meersman jumped a very good round with this good horse for 1 time fault in the first round. They had a 1, a 1, a 12 from Olivier Philipparts, a good solid 4 from Ludo, and finished on 6. But Dirk, with 1 fence down early on, disappointment for them. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And got away with it. Oh, wow. Changed his mind, got an extra stride, got disunited, climbed all over the bush, which isn't a bush, it's actually a little palisade fence in place of a bush in front of the water. Scrambled over the tape, left it, and gets home inside the time with just that one fence down early on. The third fence, which in fairness is bigger than it was, it's 160 now, was 155 on a related distance. Hasn't caused that many problems, but it did for him. So 4 faults there for Belgium. No doubt about that. That wasn't an unlucky rub, that was a good fall. Look at this, look what he does here at this little palisade. Scrambles all over that water. How on earth he jumped it? I mean, the horse must actually be a very good water jumper under normal circumstances, but that was an approach and a stride all of his own. Holger Wuschner now goes for Germany, and he had the discard score in the first round of 9. Just 2 clears in this first horses of the second round. Heine getting nervous. He needs a clear round badly. Only got 1 in the first round from Patrick Stuhlmeier, but a very solid 1-time fall for Katrin Eckermann. A 5 from Lars Nyberg. This was the discard score on 9, and they finished on 6, which is good enough to be equal third at the halfway stage. And he's clear so far. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You wouldn't have bet him having that down. A better round than the first round because he had 9. He's got inside the time this time and only 1 fence down, but still Germany, I would have to say, struggling because they could have done with a clear round badly there to get back in contention. For France, second place at the halfway stage on 5, 1 fence adrift from Switzerland on 1. Newly appointed chef de keeper of France, Philippe Godin. This horse jumped a super first round. Best I've seen him jump for a while. Just 1 time fault. Understandable anguish from the home crowd. There's no way she's going to get time faults this time. She's really letting him travel. And he's jumping every bit as good as he normally does because of it. Good round inside the time, well inside the time this time, but just that one fence down, the last part of that treble combination, and a disappointment there for the French crowd. But all is not lost. A lot depends now on, well, a lot depends on a lot of things. But let's see what Paul Esterman from Switzerland, the current leaders, can do. He had just one down in the first round. Ooh, wallop. Topinambur is a big, long striding horse. She rides him in a double bridle look. He's a big, strong horse. She rides him to perfection. But he really just took that last part of the combination on. Now for Switzerland, the current leaders on one at the halfway stage. As I said, Paul Esterman, he just had, this is a good mare. She rarely has a fence down. And she's an absolute star, Irish bred mare. Castlefield Eclipse, 11-year-old. Just had the rail off the top of the water tray off number 7 in the first round. Oh, and she's had the third fence down. She's had about as many fences down this afternoon as I saw her have all last season. Well, it's a good round, but just one down and a time fault. And so that puts them on 6. Bringing forward the 1, but of course a long way to go yet with 3 more horses from each team. But a little bit of a disappointing start there for Switzerland, and it's certainly a disappointment, I would say, for Paul Esterman, because this great mare jumps so many clear rounds. And she's just had a fence down in each round so far, well, today, and had a time fault as well in the second round, which she didn't in the first. So now the second horses from each team. And the first of those for Ireland is Shane Breen. Shane jumped an absolutely brilliant round on this horse. This 10-year-old Oldenburg stallion. I think Shane's had him since he was a 7-year-old. A very nice horse indeed. Jumped a spectacular round first time. Marcus Swale there next to Robert Splain. Marcus Swale, the team vet, brother to international rider, a very talented Connor Swale. Oh dear. Ireland started so well with 2 clears from Shane Sweetman and Shane Breen, and then had an 8 and a 9. And they've started the second round with an 8 for Shane Sweetnam, surprisingly, and one down here for Shane Breen with one fence to jump and enough time to get home in. So that's just 4 for Shane. Good performance. I don't think he will be, personally, he won't be disappointed with that horse. He's given that horse a nice pat. And he's obviously pleased with the horse. I should think it is his first Nations Cup. He told me that this morning. The horse's first Nations Cup. So to do that over what is admittedly a nice course, although it's bigger this time. That fence is a hole bigger. And it's a good performance. First time Nations Cup for a horse. Right, Ben Mayer, 1 down first round. Britain carrying 8 from the first round. He rides this lovely 11-year-old mare, Chella, for Jane Clark, his new owner from the United States. Ben spent most of the winter there. Just 1 down in the first round. Ben's in a hurry. Fantastic water jumper. He could afford to be in a hurry there. Lucky, left it. Still 84 seconds the time allowed. That hasn't been altered. One fence and an important one for Britain. And that's a superb round there for Ben Mayer, and a much needed clear round there for Great Britain. Surprisingly, as I said at the top of the programme, they would have been, not just because I'm a Brit myself, but you know that you'd have to say that 3 members of their Olympic team here this afternoon in Britain, in Britain's team in La Baule, boded well for them to get off to a great start to win this Nations Cup, but it didn't transpire in the first round because they were on equal 7th along with Ireland. But whereas Ireland now have had an 8 and a 4, Britain have kicked off the second round in brilliant form from Nick Skelton and Ben Mayer, both jumping clear. Scott Brash and Robert Smith to come, and both of them had a fence down in the first round. All to play for. The Netherlands goes next. The men in the orange jackets. Jan Hendrik Stuttert, one of the 2 brothers. Jan was on 9 in the first round. His brother Frank was on 5, and Leon Tyson on 1. But they've started fairly well with, well, very well indeed, with Albert Vaughan on 1 fault. This man, 19, his brother. Won the Grand Prix in Hickstead last year and in Copenhagen. They don't give those away. Well, that's more like it. Well inside the time. And that is more like the man that we know, brilliantly around there for Jan-Henrik Stuttgart. Hendrik Jan Stuttgart, brilliant young Dutch rider, 23 years of age. He's gone from 9 in the first round to a superb clear there in the second. And the Netherlands, like Britain, looking pretty good at the moment in this second round, but they've got 7 and 8 faults from the first round to live down. Can they do it? Depends, of course, whether they can keep up this vein of form or whether the later riders make mistakes or keep up their level of form to stay in front. Still a long way to go yet for Spain now. Their second rider, Manuel Fernandez Saro, 5 in the first round. One down early in this round. That fence noticeably jumping more difficult in this second round because it's gone up a hole. On a related distance, a fairly forward 6 strides down there from 2 to 3. But now it's bigger. It's just taken a few prisoners. And Spain had a 1, a 5, a 1 and a 17, which was the discard, finished up on 7 at the halfway stage. They started very well with Pilar Cordonero with a clear, but an expensive 8 here so far. Right, 9. Going to be tough for Spain from here on in because they're carrying 7 and they've got to get rid of that 9. And their last rider last time had 17. Very uncharacteristic 17. He just went wrong and kept going wrong. He could put that right this time, but got a bit of fence mending to do. Dominique Hendricks. One fault last time for, well, there you go, Belgium. They've got a 4 in this round. They're carrying 6, as the caption said, and they're carrying 4 from de Meersman. Another one nearly has that third fence. Changing fortunes, this horse jumped a clear first round, apart from a time fault. Water's jumped very well today, really. Hardly anybody in it apart from accidentally, not through any carelessness on horse's part. It's jumped well. Close to the time as well. 9. Another 9. So Belgium struggling. Just got over-bowled, took him there all the way. Didn't listen for instructions, just kept galloping and mowed both fences down. So at the end of this second round, we've got 3 more to go of the second horses. Second horses in the second round, then it'll start to take shape a little bit. But of course it very much depends on what these next 3 horses do, because Katrin Eckermann here for Germany, they're carrying 6, which was just expensive enough. Oh dear. And Holger Wulschner had 1 down. She's got 1 down now and a long way to go. Well, a good solid round and inside the time. The 2-4s for Germany. They could still pull it out of the fire yet, because this is going to be very close really, because the next round here now for France, the next 2 rounds are very pivotal, but of course we've still got 2 horses to go in each team yet. But if France could jump a clear, and Switzerland had 1 down, that would change things, but it seems on previous form that that's unlikely, because this very good horse of Marc Delasse's had 8 in the previous round, whereas his counterpart, Olympic champion Steve Gerdat for Switzerland, in a similar position second to go, just had 1 down, 1 time fault in the first round. France have already won 2 Nations Cups. They won in Drammen and they won in Lumen. And this man actually jumped a double clear for France in Lumen. But he's not going to do that today because he had 8 in the first round. But this is better. This Nations Cup crowd here this afternoon riding every fence with this Frenchman. They know how important it is for him to jump a clear, to try and eradicate that 5 in the first round. Remember, France finished on 5 in second place behind Switzerland, who finished on 1. The margin of 1 pole. And this is quick. He's not going to have time faults, I don't think. But he's got to jump these last 3 fences. Ooh, that was lucky. He's got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Now that puts France back in with a chance. That has brought this crowd to life, all right. And a delighted Philippe Gerd out there, the new chef de keep, having a good day here in France. And saluting the crowd there, Marc Delasсе. It was an uncharacteristic 8 faults he had in the first round. but a cracker of a round there. Okay, he had a couple of rubs, a little bit lucky in places, but a very well ridden round indeed. And that now puts France back in the hunt. At this three-quarter stage, the Netherlands and Britain, who had, well, Britain had 2 clears and the Netherlands a clear and 1, looking the best. But 2 fours there for Germany. They're going to have a job to climb back from that. France, that is a crucial clear round with them, for them. And now, what can the Olympic champion do, Steve Gerda? Olympic individual gold medalist last year in London on this lovely grey mare, 12-year-old Celle Francais mare by Kumano. Jumped an absolutely superb round in the first round with just 1 time fault. But they've had 5 with their opening rider, Paul Esterman. So although we've got 2 horses yet to come from each team, this is a vitally important round for Switzerland, because if he can jump a clear round, they've got 2 more guys to come, and both of those jump clear, Yannicka Sprunger and Piers Spitzer, in the first round, and they're likely to do it again. Make no mistake about that. There were no fluke about those 2 clear rounds. They were outstanding performances, and Switzerland, for my money, looking very, very strong at the moment. 3 world-class riders to come for them on 3 world-class horses, and they're already in the lead. But Steve Gerda, not in a great hurry here. 84 seconds. I think he's going to have a job to get home. But he's possibly sacrificing a time fault and trying to leave all the fences up. Very close to the time, but he's not quite going to get there, and he's had the last down as well. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Urs Gröning there, can't believe it. A hands-on round to die for by Steve Gerda, all the way round there. This brilliant horseman from Switzerland, Olympic gold medalist on this lovely mare. But when he seemed that he'd got it in the bag, the clear round that Switzerland were badly needing, not only did he get a fence down, but he had a time fault as well. So, at this three-quarter stage, very, very much all to play for. And for my money, that brings into contention Britain and the Netherlands, because they had clear with their 2 horses, clear, clear, 1 and clear. Changing fortunes here in Baule. The 3rd man now for Ireland. Shane Carey, 8 in the first round. Ireland struggling, has to be said, struggling. 8 on the first round, 8 and 4 their first 2 men in this round. If these next 2 men both jump clear, the very best they could finish on would be 12, and that won't be good enough. Well, that's better, isn't it? Oh, he's over the time as well. But enough to put the chef to keeps smile back on his face again. A good round there for Shane Carey, a great improvement from the previous round where he had 8. But they'll be looking, as the caption says there, to discard the 8 from Shane Sweetnam this time. But they'll certainly struggle to win this, even if Billy Toomey goes clear, which he's likely to do. They would still finish on 13. And that isn't going to be good enough either. Fluctuating fortunes for the Irish, because they started so well with 2 clears. Anyway, let's get back to the British team now. This round, if he can jump a clear round, would mean that Robert Smith wouldn't have to go. He's got to go and do it yet, but Britain... Oh, Robert Smith, get ready. The Brits started so well, the British team, for Nick Skelton and Ben Mayer, both jumping absolute blinders of clear rounds. Scott Brash here on Hello Sanctus had 1 down in the first round, and he's got 1 down here. And a long way to go yet. He's only halfway. Netherlands next. Oh dear. They need a clear round from Robert Smith to have any chance at all of improving their position, because that would put them, if Robert did jump a clear, that would put them, well, you can see it there, look. They get rid of that 8. That could put them on a total of 8. But Robert had 1 down and a time fault in the first round. But no better man to bounce back and jump a clear than he. But a very interesting round now to come from young Frank Schuttert of the Netherlands, because this is getting very finely balanced now indeed, because the Netherlands on 7 after the first round, and a lot of weight on this young man's shoulders, 19-year-old shoulders, because, as I said, there were 7 in the first round, but they've got a 1 and a 0 in this second round. Nervous times here for chef to keep Rob Aarons. Frank Schuttert, 19 years of age, 5 faults in the first round. Leon Tyson to follow him, he had just 1 time fault. This could make a huge difference, one way or the other, to the Netherlands' fortunes, if he jumps clear or not. At this first Division 1 of the European section of this Furisia FEI Nations Cup in Baule on the west coast of France. Talented man, this, the future, isn't he? 19 years of age. Ideal build for a show jumper. Long, strong, but not heavy. Long legs to wrap round a horse. And my goodness, he does it to some effect. 1 fence. Plenty of time. And he's done it. Now then, for the Netherlands, 2 clears and 1 with a time fought from 3. And Leon Tyson to go, who only had 1 time fought in the first round. These could be a danger, are a danger to all of them this afternoon, even though they started this second round down the track. They are fighting back now, as they've done so many times in the past. And an absolutely brilliant round for young Frank Schuttert there with Winchester. Only a 10-year-old, Dutch bred by numero uno. And he salutes the crowd. And what a round, what a ride for a 19-year-old. Absolutely brilliant. Spain next. Baule and Libya. Well, she only had 1 time fault in the first round. Not going to do that this time. Spain carrying 7. They've got a clear and a 9. Marco Fuster, chef to keep. Oh dear. Now they're going to have to carry that. If she's clear the rest of the way, they're going to have to carry that. So the very best they can finish on would be 15. Because they've got a 9 from the previous rider, and this one's not home yet. Time faults. Well, as I said, if their last rider jumps clear, which is not on previous form, not likely to do because he had 17, they're still going to be carrying the 9 added to the 7. So not looking good for Spain. So although it's not looking great for Spain, neither is it for Belgium, because they're carrying 6. And they've got a 4 and a 9 so far. And young Olivier, 20-year-old Olivier Philipparts here, had 12 in the previous round. So even if he and the next one, Father Ludo, both jump clear, they'd still be on 10. But Olivier had 12. I don't think he'll do that again. Ludo had 1 down. Kurt Gravemeyer, German, former German international rider. Worked alongside Henrik Schnook for a long time. This is a better performance this time. Time enough. Well, a brilliant round there for the young rider Olivier Philipparts. He's used to success at this level, jumped in several Nations Cups even at the tender age of 20, but still all to play for there. Because the 9 has got to be discarded and Ludo rather has got to go yet. Some water jumper. In spite of the fact that Frederic Cottier has put up several of these fences, we're still getting quite a few clears. You've got 2, 4, 5, 6 in this second round so far. So the third rider now for Germany, and the position with Germany is they're carrying 6 from the first round and they've got 2 4s, so this is going to be a struggle. This man was clear last time though. Lovely afternoon here now in France. Sun's come out, the breeze has dropped. Absolutely perfect conditions for show jumping. The ground is superb. A real cut in it. No jar in it for horses whatsoever. And horses really are jumping off it. You really wouldn't know which way this Nations Cup is going to go yet, because the next 2 rounds will give us a good indication though. So this is clear so far. It's not now. That's torn it for Germany, because now that's even torn it even further with 8. That's got to be the discard score. The best they can finish on is 14, which will be nowhere near good enough. The caption there agrees with me. They've got to discard that 8. Lars Nyberg might well jump a clear. I would say he'd be more likely to than not. Jumped a very good round for 5 in the first round. But now the applause starts as the penultimate rider of the third round riders comes in. And guess which nation that's for? France, of course. Now, can this brilliant French horse, Lord de Taze, and his rider, Olivier Guillon, jump another clear? They jumped an absolutely brilliant clear round the first time. Veteran of so many Nations Cups at the age of 14. And here he comes. Pivotal round now for France, because if he jumped a clear, the very worst they could finish on would be 9. And if Kevin Stote jumped a clear, which he could quite likely do, he only had an unlucky rail in the first round, they could finish on 5. And Switzerland, who led at the halfway stage, have got 2 on 5 at the moment, one of which they'll have to carry, which would put them on 6 at best. Silence reigns in Baule. Wow. It's amazing how 5 centimetres can make a difference to a fence. That fence, it had a few horses in the first round. It's had a lot more in this second round. One high, oh dear. That's about the first horse to have that triple bar down. So now the best France can finish on is 9. Well, disappointed round there for France. So that has to be the discard score. And as I said, if Kevin Stoke goes clear, added to the clear and 4 they've already got, the best they can finish on, as the caption says there, is 9. That's at best. Whereas Switzerland, who go next, if Jannica Sprunger can repeat her clear and give us another double clear, of which are pretty precious few on the ground at the moment, I think, as I see it, Nick Skelton is the only one with a double clear at the moment. But she jumped an absolutely fabulous round in the first round for clear. They're carrying 1. They were leaders. If you were with us earlier, of course, you'll know they were leaders on 1 fault. And they've had 2 5s, a 5 from Paul Esterman, a 5 from Olympic champion Steve Gerdat. But they've got Jannica Sprunger to come and Pia Schwitzer, both of which jumped clear in the first round. Britain, if Robert Smith could jump clear, the best they can finish on is 8. That 8 faults they're carrying is going to be too big of a cross to bear. And Netherlands, they're doing okay actually. The worst they can be is 8 as well. Spain and Belgium struggling mightily, as are Germany. They can't win it. This is a long way from over yet. This is some horse, this, and a very, very talented rider. And the way she grabs him every time he comes to take off doesn't allow him to have a fence she can possibly avoid it. He's so good behind. He'll let her manipulate the front end and he'll look after the back. And he's a quick horse as well, he travels. What a stallion that Baule de Rouet is, isn't he? This is another one by him. He won 3 World Cups himself. My goodness, he produces the goods. Long way off there. Hold him. Time's okay. This is the second double clear. And a brilliant one to boot as well. An absolutely stormer of a round there for Jannica Sprunger, for Switzerland. Now that really does put them in the driving seat, because they've got to carry one of those 5s. But the best they can finish is 6, or the worst they can finish on is 6. Best rather, because Pia Schwitzer has got to go last, and he jumped an absolutely brilliant clear in the first round. So, still all to play for. These But a brilliant, brilliant performance there. We've had two absolutely brilliant performances, double clears this afternoon. One from Britain's Nick Skelton and another from Switzerland, Yannick Sprunger. Ireland go next. Billy Toomey, 9, an uncharacteristic 9 in the first round. This good mare of Sue Davis's. Billy on the way back from a major operation on his back and a fall which didn't do it any good either. Take more than that to keep this man down. Ireland carrying 8, but they've got an 8, a 4 and a 1. They're not going to win it from there. Lovely rider to watch, isn't he, Billy Toomey? He rides on such a lovely forward stride all the way. And then just keeps her up together on that last stride. And this is some lovely round. A beautiful round there for Billy Toomey. It's all too late. They started so well. They're possibly finishing well because they've had a one-time fault for Shane Carey. A clear there for Billy Toomey. They'll discard the 8. I think that's 13. 8, 12, yep, 13 is their finishing score. 8 in the first round, a 4, a 1 and a clear for 5, 13 for Ireland. Good performance. A couple of blips along the way have cost them dearly. Britain, Robert Smith, 5 in the first round. Britain carrying 8. They've got 2 clears from Nick Skelton and Ben Mayer and 8 from Scott Brash. If Robert could go clear, Britain would finish on 8. I don't think it'll be enough by any manner of means. It certainly won't, but it could certainly improve their places. That won't. And Britain are one of the teams this afternoon that have elected to earn points. They choose which Nations Cups they can earn points from, 4 apiece, and this is one that Chef de Keep Ruat Hoekstra chose. And although they've fielded the strongest possible team they could, it hasn't come off. Well, another good solid performance there for Robert Smith with his good mare. She wouldn't have all the mileage in the world for this level of competition, but she's repeated her score of 5 in the first round. So there it is, as I said, 13 equal at the moment with Ireland, neither of whom are going to win it. Just after 10 to 5 here on the west coast of France in this beautiful stadium in La Baule, and all to play for with 6 horses left to go in this Furisia FEI Nations Cup, the first European Division 1 Nations Cup, the first of 8. Leon Tyson. This could go really close to winning it. could. They've got a 1 and 2 clears, and they're carrying 7. If he was clear, they'd finish on 7. If he has a fence down, they'd finish on 8. And that's gone. I must say, when we started off, and I thought this course was very reasonable, which it was, the time was very tight, which it was, I thought, oh, this could be messy. But this is turning out into a cracker of a Nations Cup, because this is still anybody's race. Solid performance again there for Leon Tyson. The almost obligatory time fault. He's got 5 there. That's the discard score. So as I said, they've got 1 in the second round. Added to 7. Finish on 8. The best so far. The next team in Spain have no chance, because they're carrying 7 and they've got 2 9s along with 1 clear. So if their next rider goes clear, which on previous form he's not likely to do because he had 17 in the first round, but he could put that behind him. But if he jumped to clear, they're going to have to carry 1 of the 9s, which would leave them on 16 at best. So they have no chance. Because we've already got 2 finished on 13, and the Netherlands finished on 8. This will actually go right to the wire, you know, because we can still see fluctuating fortunes in the next 2 or 3 riders. But we won't know the result of this, I don't think, until the last one's gone for Switzerland, because they can finish on 6, which will scupper everybody's chances. Looking good, but not to be. 5. Discard 1 of the 9s. 21, I make that. 9 and 5, 14. 21. Down the track, I'm afraid, for Spain this afternoon. They'll fight back and be there as a danger in future, but not today. Now Belgium, while you're just watching a replay of that, let's have a look at their scores, because they've got a 4, a 9 and a 0 and carrying 6. So if Ludo Philippots jumps clear, the best they can finish on is 10, and the Netherlands are already home and dried on 8. So Belgium can't win it. Neither can France, neither can Germany, but by my reckoning Switzerland can. I think they're going to need, Switzerland are going to need a clear. Father Ludo, following a brilliant performance from son Olivier, who was clear. But Belgium still can't win it because they carry in 6, as I said. If Ludo was clear, they're still going to have to carry 4 from this round, which is 10. Netherlands in front at the moment on 8. Now they go further behind because they're going to have to carry both those 4s. Leaves them for 14 at best. Doesn't now. They're still going to have to carry this 8 if Ludo is clear from here on in, because Dominique Hendricks was on 9. That's the discard. But Ludo's going to get a time fault, or is he? Very close. Yes, he has 9 as well. So discard one of the 9s. 19. 7th at best. Right, 3 to go. Germany have no chance. They had a decent enough first round with a 9, a bad start, and then a 1 and a 5, but they've had a 4, 4 and 8. And I don't wish to be insulting at all in any way, shape or form, but you know, they haven't exactly bought their best team. They've bought a very capable team, people that are winning competitions in their own country. But when you come to a Division 1 Nations Cup, you really need your best team to win it. We see that time and time again. But then Britain did that and still didn't win it. Ireland 13, Britain 13, Netherlands 8, Spain 28, 21, sorry, Belgium 19, and Germany here, if he jumps a clear, 14. France, if Kevin Stoke jumps a clear, and he was unlucky to have a fence first time, they would finish on 9. And we've already got an 8 in the shape of the Netherlands, so they can't win it. Switzerland, as I said, they could. If Pierre Schwitzer jumps clear, they'd finish on 6. But he's got to jump clear. Smashing round here for Lars Nyberg. Top man in German teams for a long time. And just over the time, just on 1 there. So they'll discard the 8. They've got 9 in this round, 15 total. Nowhere near good enough. Look like being, well, that's 6. That's about right, actually. So the applause starts now for the penultimate rider, but the last for France. And France, the position with them is that They have they're carrying 5 for a starter, which is not bad. But they're carrying on this round a 4, a clear, and an 8. So if Kevin Stoke jumps clear, they discard the 8, they carry the 4, add that to the 9, to the 5, and they've got 9 at best. No better man than the man in the ring to jump a clear, albeit on a new horse, a new face, a new kid on the block at this level. But don't forget who's riding him. Well, her. It's a mare. Good mare too. Oh dear. Pierce Switzer has to go. They haven't won it yet. This could put France on 13. Well, it's another lovely round there for Kevin Stoke, inside the time as well. There's no way he was going to have a time fault, was there? But just that one down, so they discard the 8. They've got a clear and 2 4s, carrying 5, 13. So as we go, they'll no doubt show you a reprise of Kevin's round. We've got no less than 3 on 13, which is Ireland, Britain and France. Belgium further down with 19. Germany not quite so bad with 15. The Netherlands at the moment are on 8. Well, they'll stay on 8 obviously, but at the moment with Switzerland, this man in the ring now, if he jumps a clear, they've got 5 to carry. Added to 1, they would win on 6. If he has a fence down, they will be on 9, 10, and they would be second. By my reckoning, this is subject to the jury, it's only my schoolboy maths, they would be second to the Netherlands. It's as simple as that. Pierce Switzer, formerly #1 in the world, not that long ago either, a prolific winner, has to jump a clear round to win the Furacia FEI Nations Cup here in Baule. If he's clear, he can have a time fault, but not 2. Brilliant clear. First time. Brilliant clear. Can he do it again? That's one danger out of the way. That's a long one, holding. Oh! Well, that's that. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I said this would go right to the wire, and it certainly has, because they're now going to have to carry. This will be the discard score, unbelievably, because he jumped such a fabulous round the first time. They're now going to have to carry those 2 5s, which puts them on to 11. by my reckoning, the Netherlands win it on 8. And Switzerland will be second on 11. We've got 3 on 13. Ireland, Great Britain, and of course France. Spain on 21, Germany on 15 before them. And that's that. The end of a dramatic Nations Cup here in Baule, and one which was always going to be close fought. And an unbelievable amount of pressure on Pia Schwitzer. Unfortunately, it didn't quite come off for them. No blame attached to Pia Schwitzer at all, because he rode his usual brilliant round. A relatively inexperienced horse there to finish, and couldn't quite capitalise on his brilliant clear round. And there is the final caption of this Furussia Nations Cup. And a lovely win there, a brilliant win by the narrowest of margins, really, from less than 1 fence for the Netherlands from Switzerland, and 3 in equal third position. Quite a nervous, nail-biting finish in the end of it, of the afternoon's pretty good jumping here, actually. You know, they've jumped it fairly well. It was not the biggest Nations Cup I've seen. The time played a big part, although it didn't, in the finish, make any difference to the result. It just prevented us in the possibility of having a jump off if all the fences had worked out even. But that doesn't matter, because nothing detracts from a brilliant win there from the Netherlands. They had a superb second round. They had carrying 7 faults there. They had a lovely round again from Albert Vaughan, repeated his 1 time fault from the first round, and then 2 superb rounds from Hendrik Jan Stuttgart and his brother Frank. What a brilliant performance from those 2 extremely talented young Dutchmen, 23 and 19 years of age. And Leon Tyson, another very good performance in 5 faults. He was the discard score, so they finish on 8, and a thoroughly deserved victory as well. They've proved time and time again, in fairness, the Netherlands teams, that they are to be feared at the very, very highest level.
Ladies and gentlemen, do stay with us, because the competition is not over. Of course, we've got the wonderful prize giving ceremony to come with the protocol, with all of our officials that will be representing the ambassador to France, the Saudi Arabian ambassador, His Eminence Dr. Mohammed Islam Al-Sheikh, who is also representing Suriya, Carmen Barara, representing FEI Bureau, obviously Mr. Ramiro, the president of the organising committee, the mayor of the Baule Metro.
Well, everyone, not everyone, a lot of people on the way home now from this lovely arena in Baule. It'll take a little bit of time to set the podium up here in front of the grandstands here. Our commentary point is just to the back of your picture there. We're looking at the same view that you are. And we shall actually come back and do the presentation, but that will be in a little while. We can take a small break now if anyone wants to rejoin us for the presentation. You'll have pictures in the meantime, and so we'll just wrap it up for a few minutes now, take a breather, and then come back for the presentation. Be back soon. Bye now.
So, your first victory in Baule, so a great feeling, I suppose. It's a wonderful feeling. I did 8 attempts.
place pour accueillir dans quelques instants les Pays-Bas, la Suisse et la France, sachant que la Suisse et la France, les Anglais aussi, avaient choisi la Baule comme étape qualificative pour la finale. Donc il y a 3 équipes là qui font une très belle opération pour cette première étape de la première division. La FEI Nations Cup, objectif à fin septembre à Barcelone, les 18 meilleures nations du monde, avec 6 groupes vont se battre tout au long de cet été pour grappiller le maximum de points et se qualifier pour la finale. Et son éminence le docteur Mohamed Ismail Al-Sheikh, ambassadeur du Royaume d'Arabie Saoudite en France, qui fait l'honneur et le plaisir de venir sur le tapis des cérémonies. Merci à la FRA d'avoir ouvert cette grande compétition, je vous le rappelle, à 37 nations, c'est la première fois. Il y a autant de pays qui vont s'affronter pour se qualifier pour la grande finale de Barcelone, et ce n'est que le début d'une grande aventure. Nous accueillons également Monsieur le maire, Monsieur Météo, qui restera également avec nous tout à l'heure pour le Prix Cap Atlantique AMT, première étape de ce championnat en sport par test qui débutera dans quelques minutes. La Fédération d'équitation internationale représentée par Mme Carmen Barrera, la Fédération française d'équitation représentée par son vice-président Jacques Robert. Et alors qu'il y a l'effervescence là-bas au Baule, évidemment, les Néerlandais sont assaillis de félicitations. Tous les cavaliers viennent leur serrer la main, les féliciter. Whoopi également, les journalistes qui essaient déjà vraiment de se grappiller les premières impressions. On est déjà en couverture, c'est beau. Et je crois que vous allez dans quelques instants pouvoir les appeler pour une belle cérémonie. Alors, et c'est ce qu'on est là, il va falloir commencer à prendre le tempo, chers amis, pour appeler cette belle équipe hollandaise avec 2 générations de cavaliers, les plus confirmés avec le grand et les 2 frères de 22 ans qui ont chacun apporté sans faute à leur équipe. Allez, je vous entends bien, un petit peu plus fort, s'il vous plaît. Et dans la tribune découverte également, qu'on vous entend bien. Allez, on commence, tout le monde. Et M. Borlami, on relance son équipe. Et Ron Evans, le chef d'équipe est là. Avec le sourire. Maestro. Musique. Voici, pour la 3e fois dans l'histoire de cette épreuve à Baule, l'équipe des Pays-Bas.
Well, as you rejoin us for the presentation here in Baule, there is the chef de keep of the Netherlands team, Rob Aarons. He's been and chef de keep now 7 or 8 years. Former international rider himself, Rob. Used to have a very good black mare called Kohinoor. And jumped on a lot of Nations Cups back in the days when I used to have a kick in the pull round. And he was always a great character then, he still is now, and he was a capable rider. He's every bit as good as a chef de keep. He's a great motivator of his men, and they work for him and they get on as a team tremendously well. So fair play to them. Good solid performance from them today. They did well actually, especially in the second round. To get through the second round with a total of 1-4, they had Albert Vaughan. Solid performance from Albert, silver medalist in Sydney Olympics 2000, Sydney 2000. And he had 1-1. Henrik Jan Schuttert, he had 9 in the first round, but put that right with a vengeance in the second round off clear. His younger brother Frank had 5 in the first round, an absolutely brilliant round for a 19-year-old in the second round, clear. And Leon Tyson, another good solid round, 1 and 5 in his 2 rounds, left them on a total of 8. So it put the pressure, of course, on the last man in to go, who had to go clear, but Piers Schwitzer made no difference to him personally, but he couldn't repeat his first round clear and had a couple of fences down, which left Switzerland on 11. Just to remind you that we shall be on air again very shortly, actually. Next weekend in Rome, it's a double header. I'm Steve Hadley here in Baule, and I'll be going to Copenhagen next weekend for a Nations Cup. My colleague Phil Gazala will be in Rome to cover that. And then we go from that to St. Gallen on the 30th of May, the week after that. And then 2 very consecutive ones in Rotterdam and Aachen in June. Falsterbo in July, Hickstead 1st of August, and Dublin the 7th of August. Proud moments for the men in the orange jackets, the riders for the Netherlands. Just to continue what I was saying, we shall also be covering the Division 2 of Europe, Copenhagen, Lisbon, Sopot in Poland, Budapest in Hungary, Slovakia, Bratislava, Gijón in Spain, Arezzo, Kiev, and we shall be covering nearly all of those on FEI TV. We go then to, of course, the European Championships in Herning in Denmark at the end of August, and then the Furussia Nations Cup final in September in Barcelona. And that will be those 2 pinnacles will be the pinnacle of the season for not only us in FEI TV, but of course all these riders. That's the 2 things that they'll be working forward towards. Been a great start this afternoon, especially for the Netherlands. That certainly won't be the last exciting Nations Cup, because that went right to the wire, right to the last man, as I always thought it would. It looked as if it was going to be a close run affair, and indeed it was, right to the last horse. Rob Aarons, chef de keep. What a proud moment for those two young riders, the Schuttert brothers. And Leon Tyson and the veteran rider Albert Vaughan. What a great, Albert on the right-hand side there, what a great moment for him. Well into his 50s now. Silver medalist, individual silver medalist in Sydney 2000, and lovely to see him back at the top of the tree where he belongs. So a great afternoon sport here in La Baule on the west coast of France. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for joining us. Join us again next weekend in Rome or Copenhagen. See you then. Bye-bye for now.
Allez, si l'on peut maintenant faire une belle photo de famille. Votre Éminence, Monsieur le maire, Madame, Messieurs les officiels, toute la presse mondiale ici, télévision, photographes. Je vous rappelle qu'il y avait 4 télévisions en direct, plus le site internet Canal+, plus le site internet La Baule Direct, c'est-à-dire peut-être des millions de téléspectateurs qui ont vécu avec vous et en image ce moment. Allez, un applaudissement pour le winner in 1991, it was the European Championship winner in 2000, and for the third time, 30 years after, the third victory for the Dutch team. Bravo à tous, dans quelques minutes après le tour d'honneur, nous irons raconter cette aventure pleine de suspense à l'occasion de la conférence de presse, bien sûr, et répondre aux questions de tous les journalistes. Est-ce que toutes les photos ont été prises? Nous allons maintenant donc féliciter une autre sacrée équipe avec leur champion olympique, bien sûr, comme meneur, qui prend la deuxième place de cette épreuve avec 3 points d'écart seulement. Quand on vous disait que les points de temps dépassés allaient peut-être avoir une importance énorme dans cette épreuve, avec 11 points. Paul Esterman, Steve Gerda, Yannick Aspringer, Pius Spitzer, bravo à la Suisse. Paul Esterman, une petite faute à chaque tour. Steve, sans faute, un petit peu de points de temps dépassé, la faute sur le dernier là-bas au deuxième tour. Janica, double sans faute. Vraiment splendide, on peut le dire. Sur le Schmitter, en numéro 10 mondial, qui apporte sa collaboration avec le sans faute d'entrée de jeu. Son score de la deuxième manche ne comptera pas. Et on peut saluer également la fidélité de l'équipe suisse à ce rendez-vous. D'ailleurs, leurs supporters et supportrices ont fait la route jusqu'ici. Et ils avaient choisi la Baule comme épreuve qualificative pour la finale. Donc, bien joué, messieurs, dames. Et à la troisième place, 3 équipes ex-aequo. Il y a dans le règlement que 3 équipes qui viennent à la remise des prix. Et si le pays organisateur est dans cet ex-aequo, le pays organisateur a priorité. C'est pourquoi, avec leurs 13 points, bien sûr, les Anglais et les Irlandais ont été aussi performants. Mais nous allons être heureux après la victoire de l'Humaine, entre autres, de féliciter la 3e place et ils prennent des points pour la finale de l'équipe de France. On est dans la deuxième équipe, M. Philippe Gerda. Je vais être la de son équipe. Ça a bien marché pour les Bleus depuis le début de ce concours. Hier, ils gagnent individuellement les 2 épreuves. Michel Écart et Pénélope. Ce matin, une 2e et une 3e place. Aujourd'hui, une place sur le podium. de la FEI Nations Cup. Ça va pas mal du tout en ce début de saison 2013. Je vous rappelle, le sans faute et le 4 points de Pénélope, 1 et 4. Ça s'est pas bien passé en première manche pour Marc. Et il nous met un bon sans faute en second manche. Olivier et Laure de Thésée, 0 en première manche, mission accomplie. 2-4 points pour Kevin, 13 points au total, bravo à tous. Bravo à ces 3 équipes. Messieurs, est-ce que vous voulez remonter sur vos chevaux préférés? J'en suis sûr. Confiez ces jolies fleurs à vos grooms. Et encore une fois, Pays-Bas qui donne une belle leçon. 2 cavaliers expérimentés, 2 jeunes tracks. À mon avis, les frères Schluter, là, on va en entendre parler. Ils doivent tous les deux mesurer 1m95 au garrot. 2 grands gaillards. Je tiens à remercier au nom de tout le public baulois son éminence le docteur Mohamed Ismail Hachek, ambassadeur du Royaume d'Arabie Saoudite en France, représentant donc Fouroussia et ce fonds saoudien qui va apporter le financement à cette grande